At the very beginning of the dungeon, we want to skip the very first mob, so we will invisibility pot before entering the key. This will give us 18 seconds of invisibility at rank 3, and with a 10-second timer, we have a window of 8 seconds to skip the mob. Remember to not use any flask of corrupting rage because it might proc and break your invisibility. So you start skipping here, suddenly the shaman gets killed, and I shadow melt immediately to avoid getting targeted. We move on to the first pool of the dungeon. Here I interrupt Tectonic Smash with Fell Eruption. This is a very hard hitting ability. I purge the shield and proceed with the standard opener with the hands, 2 Immolation Aura charges, potion, trinket, metamorphosis and everything. Now we want to use all of our buttons, get everything on cooldown, and right after that we want to start interrupting, stunning, using Chaos Nova here. Then we have the Sigil of Misery and all of our CCs. This is a general approach with Havoc where you use all your cooldown abilities and then you start CCing, because spamming Annihilation, especially in AoE, is not that useful. You try to use your CC abilities instead to help your group survive. We are cleaning up this pack and we are getting ready for the next one. I have the hand ready, I have an IB Essence Break coming really soon, so I want to get my Immolation Aura rolling. I purge the shield. Here I hunt and Fell Rush through to spread the dot, and then I proceed with I-Beam and Essence Break. Here I had another charge of Immolation Aura coming off cooldown, so I could have waited a little bit to get that inertia on my burst. That was a mistake. After I'm done with my burst combo, I proceed again with CCing. I want a Chaos Nova, Fell Eruption, Imprison, everything I can to stop casts and help my team survive, because I can spam Chaos Strike instead, but it's not very efficient, it's not gonna help my team, I'm not gonna do much damage, it doesn't really matter. So I keep spamming my Immolation Auras and my Blade Dances on cooldown, and after that I try to CC and stop as many casts. Here I Focus Kick. These are the last casts of the pack. We're cleaning this up and I have I-Beam ready, but there is no point using it. I'm saving it for the next pool. I also have the hand. Here is a situation where you wanna hold on your damage because you wanna start the next pool strong. Here we start moving, getting to the mini boss, and here I make the first major mistake of the dungeon. I use the hand and I-Beam on the mini boss because I was thinking we will make quick work of this guy and then I will hold my Metamorphosis that's coming off cooldown soon to use it on the boss. But this is a mistake because this guy on Fortified has a lot of HP. We stay here for a while, I end up wasting a charge of Metamorphosis for sure because I delayed it for so long. It is what it is. We keep hitting this guy with everything we have. Vengeful Retreat on cooldown, Blade Dance, Sigil of Flame, whatever there is. Generally speaking, this is a very important topic of deciding when you're going to I-Beam, when you're going to Metamorphosis, because these two cooldowns, they have to be lined up together, and sometimes you want to delay Metamorphosis, sometimes you want to delay the I-Beam. Here, as you can see, I send another I-Beam, the Metamorphosis is still on cooldown, and I still don't use it. Perhaps I could use it even here, because I will end up using it in the first ads phase of the boss, so I delayed it for so long. This is a very big mistake, don't make the same mistake. But it also comes with experience, you know. I have not run these dungeons for a while, I'm not really sure how long each mob takes and if I should use a cooldown or not, but as you can see here, I still have Metamorphosis, I'm not using it, and here again you will see I-Beam comes off cooldown with Essence Break and I'm still holding because I'm thinking the first ad phase is coming, I need to be super strong, I need to burst all those whelps, that's the power of Havoc, doing massive AoE, but this cost me in terms of single target DPS for the mini boss and this first boss. Here we have two main mechanics. We have the ice shards that we want to stack all together and we want to avoid getting knocked into. From the second ability, this big explosion, when you have it, you want to put it away from your group and in a position where your teammates will not get knocked into the ice shards. Here the whelps are coming, the moment we've all been waiting for. We've been stacking these cooldowns for a while, so we press everything to get rewarded, finally see those huge numbers in the meters. But was it worth it? Some will say yes, some might say no. It is what it is. The whelps are dead immediately, we skyrocket the meters, but how much time did we lose in terms of single target DPS? We keep pumping the boss here, we have the two main mechanics. I get targeted by the big explosion, I put it away from the group in a position where they can easily dodge the spikes when they get knocked back. I use Blur to stop the damage on me, and here I keep pumping, and that's all we have to do for the rest of the fight. And we're waiting the next set of whelps, where we will have another I-beam with Essence Break and Sigil of Flame and some charges of Immolation Aura to do more AoE. Until then, we just press Blade Dances and Vengeful Retreats and the Hunt. Generally, you don't want to delay the Hunt, even if you could do a little bit of AoE with it on the whelps. The Hunt cooldown reduction with Blade Dance is really powerful, so you want to capitalize on that. Here the whelps are coming, you pop the Immolation Aura, you do the Sigil of Flame, and you burst with I-beam. This is a really good burst actually, you don't necessarily need Metamorphosis to clear those whelps. You see they survive for a little bit longer, but they get Cap Totem, you can use Chaos Nova as well. I didn't have to in this case. And this boss is pretty much finished. You see the hand is back off cooldown just because I used it earlier, and we got the cooldown reduction from Blade Dance and Throwglaive. It will probably still regenerate while we're flying on the back of the dragons to get to the upper stages of the dungeon and get another cast right after we're upstairs. Here we will be saving cooldowns. I know we will be doing the big Drake right after the boss, and we need every cooldown for that. There is one more I-beam coming off cooldown, Metamorphosis in 20 seconds. There is no way I'm going to use Metamorphosis on this boss. I know there is some downtime between this boss and the next mini boss, so I send I-beam. I know it will be back off cooldown when I need it, and worst case scenario, I will have to wait like 10 seconds for it and get an extra cast. It's definitely worth it. But you know, these drakes take some time to get downstairs and help you fly upstairs. As you see here, while we're approaching the mini boss, every cooldown is back, so we can go full ham on this dragon here and destroy him as fast as possible. This lightning dragon does a lot of AoE damage. Our healer will struggle. We have to help him with darkness at some point. I generally let them pop their cooldowns first, because this is how packs work. People pop their cooldowns, so I try to adapt to their cooldowns. I will hold my darkness for the second round of lightning AoE after my shaman has used his own cooldowns. So here we're just pumping the dragon. I used every single button. I don't have anything else to do more damage. The breath is on me. I fell rush through to avoid it. And we just wait for the dragon to fall off, and we hope that the shaman can heal us. We have another hand coming off cooldown. I wait a little bit because I want to line it up with my I-beam and fell rush through to get the fell rush buff on both the essence break and the hand dot. Now here is the place where the second dispel comes in. I darkness. This will help us mitigate a lot of damage. Someone makes a good call, he Spirit Links. These two cooldowns go very well together because darkness is random and Spirit Link will spread the HP to all targets. Moving on to the next group, we have the casters, the dancers and the big elemental. You want to focus the big elemental down and kick and dispel the casters and dispel the flame dancer when he's about to die. When you get the circle from the big elemental, you need to hit the other mobs with this. It has some friendly fire. When the big elemental casts Inferno, you want to pop a personal. Most of the time it's going to be Blur. Here you want to keep interrupting, keep dispelling the casters as much as possible. I just send my I-beam on these mobs. You see that Metamorphosis is back on 25 seconds, so it will roughly line up with I-beam. We'll not have to wait too much and have everything ready for the next pack. Here when the flame dancers die, you want to dispel them, and when the big elemental dies, it will do another explosion around it and you want to quickly move away. Here for example, I would not send any I-beam or Metamorphosis. This is a dying mob. Here our tank does something clever, let's say. He chain pulls, no reason, into this patrol. We get hit by the elemental ability. Here I make a mistake of my own. I pop my cooldowns while the elemental explosion is going on. If I was a true Chad, I would stay inside and Metamorphosis jump right as the explosion was hitting, so I would completely immune it, but I was not. I ran away like a chicken and I ended up losing so much damage. This is a second big mistake in this dungeon, but we're still doing fine. We keep interrupting and dispelling the casters. Now the flame dancers do the flame dance. They need to be dispelled by raging or they will keep casting, and when they die they need to be dispelled. Here I send the hand. This is a little bit questionable, but there is a lot of downtime to the next pack. So here I purge one flame dancer and sadly our summon refuses to purge the second one. We move on to another pack of elementals and flame casters. This pack can be brutal in high fortified. Here I send the essence break right on the opener, and then I will start looking into using my CC. After my blade dance is on cooldown, I will purge some buffs of the casters and try to stop as much as I can and focus down the elemental. Always when there is a big mob, you want to prioritize it so that the other mobs die from cleave and the big target dies almost at the same time. Here I focus purge the other mob and we're good to go. The elemental will die pretty soon. You see now I-beam coming off cooldown in 5 seconds, and I will end up delaying a little bit so that it lines up with metamorphosis, and I go into this pool with full strength, all cooldowns, trinket metamorphosis, and burst those mobs here. You stun with metamorphosis as well. The inferno is coming, I blur it, and then after our damage is all on cooldown, we then start with CC. Perhaps I've delayed my CC a little bit too much. Up until now everything is off cooldown. Now I used Fel Eruption, now we have Raging, so I'm not going to CC too much in this pack. I had all my DPS cooldowns up and the pack melted. The retry did a lot of damage as well, so we destroyed this pack, but we did not CC it at all. So our teammates ended covering up for us. Here is an unlucky situation, the summon dies from the explosion, we rescue him and we move on. We skip the big dragon by hugging here to the left, and we have yet another pack of casters and a big elemental. Here I don't have metamorphosis, but I have everything else. I have I-beam with the hand and double immolation aura charge, so I could do a lot of damage here. I don't do the best sequencing, I could definitely do a little bit better. And again, everything is on cooldown. I should be getting to CC mobs. I use my Chaos Nova, I should use my Fear, and then perhaps my Fel Eruption as well to stop as many casts as possible. Here I get the Living Bomb, so I try to hit all the mobs with the Living Bomb, which deals damage to them and knocks them up and interrupts their casts, so it gives us even more control. There's another Inferno here. I decide to Netherwalk it. Perhaps I could even Darkness this, but perhaps I could even save everything, because our group was not in danger and I might need these abilities later on in the boss. Here we have a Flame Caster, we do not have a purge, the Shaman doesn't purge and he dies again. And here we get another Inferno, which I could definitely Darkness and I did not. This is a big mistake. We almost died here and I could have stopped this. Now this chain pull from our tank is a little bit questionable. Again, I Chaos Nova instantly because I feel like we're in danger and we might be dying to these casts or anything else that goes through. Here I pop my meta, I do a decent sequencing of the combo, not the best, I still could do better, and I paired some buffs. I try to do as much damage as possible with whatever I have left while controlling a little bit. Here I land a kick, perhaps I should be using Fel Eruption or Cage. The mobs are enraged though, so we're counting on the interrupts of our teammates. They do land them, and we're waiting for the flame dance here. We purge instantly, that's good, and we move on to the second boss. In this boss you want to save damage for the adds, whether it's I-beam or the hand or whatever you got. Here I have 2 charges of Immolation Aura, I have an I-beam, I send the Sigil of Flame and I go for it. I do the double Immolation Aura into the Essence Break combo to burst this ad down. Here I have the hand, I do a focus hand, I hit the boss with it and cleave with a dot on the ad, because the ad was almost dead, so I wanted to keep the Lich debuff on the boss so I can heal myself up for the next 30 seconds. Here we bait another ball towards the wall, which is really good, and we're expecting the next ad. I don't have almost anything, still I try to save whatever I can. I have 1 Immolation Aura, I have Sigil of Flame and the Blade Dance, and that's all. That's not too much, sadly. Here the boulder is baited again, away from the ad. I was in a bad position, I was on top of the ad. Luckily, the boulder did not target me, so we were saved. Here I have another I-beam, I use it on the ad, we clear it really good. Another boulder is baited in a really good position, and we keep kiting the boss. In 30 seconds, I have I-beam, Metamorphosis will come back earlier. I don't want to use it, I want to use the Metamorphosis whenever I-beam is also up, so I will only use the hand on this ad and save Metamorphosis for the next one. I hope my teammates have enough damage to burst down this ad. I will commit some Immolation Aura charges because I want to help a little bit with the ad damage. We're a little bit slow. I guess other people do not have cooldowns either. Perhaps they were saving for the next ad as well. There's a boulder in a very good position. I have every cooldown to absolutely destroy the next ad and finish the boss off. Our healer is looking pretty strong in this battle. We did not have any trouble. Here we want to bait the boulder away from the ad, and after the boulder is baited, we charge to the ad and we burst it with every cooldown so this ad will die instantly and we will be in no danger at all. So after the ad is finished, we will swap to the boss, and I'm certain we can definitely focus the boss here and ignore the next ad. Let's see what we do. I'm saving the hand to burst the next ad, which is definitely a mistake because we should be going boss at this stage. If the hand was committed, the boss would be even lower. It would be clear to everyone that we should focus boss. But at this stage, it might be a little bit confusing. We're in a pack, we're not in chat, so we don't know for sure. Here I commit the hand to the ad, but I fell rest to the side so I can spread the dot to it. And here I will send the last I-beam with essence break. Boss and ad died at the same time, which means that we should definitely have focused the boss. The boss fight was pretty good, no deaths, no big mistakes, and we move on to the next pack. I don't have almost anything here. I just send whatever I have, which are some emulation aura charges to do big uncapped AoE. Here I get some lucky procs, so I spam them, and I have all emulation aura charges up for some big AoE, but the red had cooldowns and completely annihilated this pack. Here I have another I-beam with inertia and essence break. This was executed pretty good. And at the hand to finish off the pack. I don't have anything else, so I'm using CC here. I'm using my stun. I just keep hitting with whatever I have, which is not too much. Here the ad does the second big AoE. I darken the first one, so I blur the second one. I hope the rest of the party has something to pop with me. With not much left, I'm using some emulation aura charges, some vengeful retreat and the blade dance to finish the pack. As you can see here, all my cooldowns are coming back. I will be blasting in this pack. I put the star on focus because I know I want to be kicking this mob. This flash fire is very dangerous, and then I pop all my cooldowns. I get hit by thunderclap, which reduces your haste, and it's also a slow, which means vengeful retreat can remove it. This is a DPS increase because it reduces your haste by 10%, and if you remove it, you just do more damage. After sending all my DPS cooldowns, I should be looking to do some CC, which I'm not doing here. This is not good. I purge the shield from this mob. It has a damage reduction shield, which should be purged. It's important. I wait 1 second outside here because I don't want to get hit by thunderclap to get my haste reduced again. So we now slowly finish this pack. I don't have much for the next one. I will actually have an I-beam coming off soon, in like 8 seconds. Here you see as I move into the next pack, I put one mob on focus because I want to focus kick it, and I target something else. This is something that you should be doing all the time because it lets you control the interrupts way better. Here you see the purple mob is outside casting. We missed our kick in the first kick because we did a weird overlap. Now I managed to focus kick it. It's back in the pack, so we can cleave everything together. We're not in danger of pulling the other pack, so we're chilling here. We don't have much damage, but we are slowly finishing off this pack. It's not too dangerous. It does the lightning storms, which can be annoying. I pop a blur here for this. I kick the flash fire, and we keep pumping these mobs. The caster gets a defense shield, but there is no point purging it. It's at 10%, so you just ignore it, you keep pumping it. Here I send another I-beam, even if it's on single target. Some mobs join in, because Metamorphosis is coming back in 30 seconds, and I want to line up I-beam and Metamorphosis for the next pack. This mob also has a lot of HP, so it's not that the I-beam damage was wasted. It also casts the lightning storm, so we want to finish it off at some point before proceeding to the next pack. Here we take a small break because our healer needs mana and he died. Now we open this pack with every button. I know we're going to last. I asked before the pull whether we're going to last this pack or the last boss. It's fortified, so we choose to last this one. I pop absolutely everything. I pump on pull. There's 3 targets. You throw glaive everything and you keep using everything. And then you start CCing. It's raging. Mobs are already dying. They are enraged, you cannot really CC them, so we do not CC much at all in this pack. Of course we focus down the big guy, he has way more HP than the other mobs, you know, everything is dead from cleave and he's still alive. This is the power of essence break here, where it allows you to focus the priority target, which is this big guy in our case, who continuously casts the lightning storm, which is deadly. There's another I-beam coming off cooldown. This mob looks low, but it's not low, it has a lot of HP. We definitely send it here. I was patient, I waited for emulation aura to send it with inertia, which is the correct play. And we have a lot of time still until the boss is activated because we have the RP in between. We get another lightning storm, I blare it on cooldown. We don't like the spell. and we clear the final pack. Here we pull the last boss, and the tactic here is known for a while. You wanna hit the dragon as much as possible, get him as low as possible, because he is the reason you will wipe in the last phase. Here I try to hunt him and he flies away, and I'm patient. I don't use the hunt, I don't use I-beam, I wait for the dragon to come back and hit it with everything I have. I use Immolation Aura to do the inertia hunt on the boss and then do the essence break burst. Here I have a little bit bad position, so I don't get good cleave on the main boss. It doesn't really matter. The main boss doesn't really matter, it doesn't do much. So he does the winds here, we dodge the fires, nothing too special. Now I have Metamorphosis coming back off cooldown in 20 seconds. I want to use it on the dragon. This time the dragon flies down, I don't have much damage for it. I realize I cannot cleave the boss, I want to go closer and I make another mistake. I get cleaved by the breath, I almost die here, I health pot, I survived by a miracle and I keep hitting the main boss. This was a mistake, I was on the wrong side of the boss and then I greeded, I tried to get closer to get cleave. This was completely unnecessary. Now the dragon comes back again and I have every cooldown. And I'm on the right side of the boss now, I can cleave, I pop everything and I absolutely destroy the bosses. The dragon was still casting the fire breath, now I managed to get the hand, I get the I-beams, I get absolutely everything, and my timing was pretty good because he now enters the last phase with almost no HP. He does the first flame speed, I don't get targeted, so I completely pump him, I don't have to move, I dodge the breath easily, I do an acrobatic here and I keep pumping him. He won't even get the ability to do a second flame speed. This is extremely easy for our healer. The boss died instantly, so he had no struggle whatsoever. The fight is almost over, this boss does nothing without the dragon. Now I see I have double Immolation Aura, so I do the double inertia combo with Essence Break, a lot of damage, finishing the boss. Not that it really matters at this stage. I do the Vengeful Retreat into Fell Rush and the Hunt, and I finish the fight. If you wanna see my Mythic Plus guide for Havoc in Season 4, click the video on screen or the link in the description. As always, see you in the next one!